could start. Okay. Good. All right. So welcome everyone. My name is Claudia Li Tang, and I'm an associate registrar academic. So you are in the computer science, math, and physical sciences session on selecting your courses. So if I just want to make sure that you're in the right place, but if not, you can leave the room and you will be you can choose the right one, but you're welcome. So just want to welcome all of you here. So here's our agenda. So today we're going to be focusing on in this session, we're going to focus on how to pick your courses with a focus in computer science, math, and physical science programs. So we're going to take a look at a few of these computer science programs and physical science programs and closer so that you can pick out your core courses and then build your timetable as well as your electives that way. And then we will also then go into using the tool of making your own timetable, which is something that is very unique in the Faculty of Arts and Science. As you heard earlier, we have over 4,500 courses, 390 programs. So everyone will have a chance to take a look at the extensive list of courses that we have and then plan ahead and customize their degree in a way that is most unique and to you and that cater to your interest. And then we're going to go through the checklist of the important dates leading up to course enrollment and registration until you start your classes in September. Okay, so the first thing first, you would need some tools. And so here I'm going to highlight 3 important tools and websites that you may want to sort of use in order for do the planning. So this morning in the session, Denise talked about how to use the calendar to find the programs and then also zoom in to see what are the admissions requirements, the first year core courses that they would say indicate in the program that you may want in order to sort of select your core courses. So we talk about also, so in this session, we're also going to be looking at how you're going to build that and put it into a timetable and making a timetable for yourself. So the first tool you're going to need is the academic calendar. And then you find course subscription programs, degree requirements. So that is like kind of like a roadmap that guides you. Okay, so this year I'm going to do this, next year, so it's a roadmap to graduating and completing your degree. But in terms of the timetable is what actually gives you the information in this specific time session, academic sessions. What are the courses available? So sometimes in the Faculty of Arts and Science calendar, you see many courses. However, ultimately in the session that you plan on taking, you actually need to go to the timetable builder to see what are the actual course listing and availability in that year, because not all courses are offered every year. And then this is the timetable that actually tells you when and where those courses will be will happen, so you can add it to the timetable. So the third tool that you also might need, which Denise also alluded to, are departments' website. So those are direct websites that might contain more information about the courses themselves. And if you want some more in-depth sort of information about, you could contact or visit the department website as well. So again, I would say make sure that you bookmark this website that has all the information that you need from the Faculty of Arts and Science. Okay, so this morning you already talked about the degree requirements, and we zoomed into the programs which you can choose to do 1 specialist, 2 majors, or 1 major and 2 minors. And these are just basically minimum subject post combinations that you may need to complete by the time you graduate. And each of them, I would say that students actually have an opportunity to declare or adjust their programs every springtime. So March is usually when another round of program enrollment begins. So if you're in first year, typically, assuming you're going to be completing 4 credits, you will be promoted to second year. So it's based on your number of credits that you will complete by the end of summer. And then you would choose to apply for these programs towards the end of your first year. And the reason why you need to be in programs is that because in July of next year, as a second year student, and then on, your priority for enrolling courses is going to be based on the programs that you're enrolled in. Okay. So let's take a look now. So we also talked about, strategies for choosing your first year courses. I would say that it's important that you sort of have an idea of what programs you may want to do. And I would say at this point, rather than focusing on how in depth you want to go lock yourself in, I would say just perhaps choose or list a few programs that you may be interested, and then take those core courses, so that the aim is that by the end of first year, you would have some programs options, more than one at least, that you could choose to apply to towards the end of your first year. So typically a full course load in a year is 5 full credits. So that's like, that's considered a full-time course load. And even though you are able to actually take up to 6 full credits without permission, and you can add on them, I would say for your first year is typically, I think, just to make sure that you understand, going through all the transitions and stuff like that, that you would make perhaps actually best to just keep it at 5 maximum. So that's important. And that the other thing is, it's important that you also check out how you may want to follow your interests. Now, even though most of you are admitted to the same category of physical sciences and computer science, I'm pretty sure you guys would, if you even look at the programs in like statistics or math or computer science, you will find that there are focuses, right? So that you can apply many of your knowledge in math and physical science and statistics in many other areas. So this is an opportunity for you to kind of think of, okay, well, other than my main objective of, let's say, being in computer science or math or physics or chemistry, what are some of the things that could potentially be across, like, you can adopt possibly to do a minor, but also to give you another perspective, maybe to help in a certain area of focus, which can combine arts or humanities or other areas, courses in other areas. So that is something that you may want to really kind of look into. And then one good way of doing that is to consider maybe even taking a first year foundation course in other breadth other breadth area outside your main area of study. So breadth requirements, you don't need to fulfill it all in your first year. So what I would ask you to consider is that each year you see where the courses that you've taken, kind of take a note, okay, where have they landed? What areas have you already covered? And what area do you still need to cover? So that way if you don't cover it this year, that's fine. You can consider it covering the following year. But I think in your first year, I would say your priority should be to actually ensure that you're taking the courses that will enable you to pick programs at the end of first year. So, okay, so then this last is to explore. You have places where you can look at programs and courses to explore would be the calendar, program A to Z. Some programs you will see that there is an ASIP component to it. There are also lots of opportunity in your second or third year, perhaps that you may want to consider even looking into possibly taking a year abroad or taking one field course abroad. So there's lots of opportunity that you can do to explore. Okay, so program requirements. I'm just taking this as an example. So computer science, for example, in here, you will be able to see, I'm going to just click on the link, just so I can you see? Yes, okay. All right, so typically this is an example of a program that I go in. So if you click here, you'll see a summary of all the types of programs that computer science as a department sponsors. So here you can do an applied minor, data science specialist, which is actually a collaboration between stats department and computer science. And then you have computer specialist, major, and then if you click on it, you'll see what the enrollment requirements are. Okay, so this is typically what you would find in the program, and basically it gives you a whole roadmap of what courses you may need to do in order to complete the program. Okay, so it's an extensive, but here, many of you, because you are already admitted into the math and physical sciences, there's in this particular program, if your intention is to actually apply for a specialist major in computer science, it is important that you choose the right combination of first year courses. Because as a student admitted to the physical and math sciences, you actually have priority. And you have what they call a computer science guarantee into applying to the specialist or major if you complete these specific courses within 12 months, meaning you meet all the requirements by summer. So, and these are the specific courses that you will have to take with the courses. So if you have a guarantee, you would choose to do computer science 110, 111 with these minimum courses and the physical math at the end, and you will request the program, specialist, major, or minor. And assuming that you have all of this, you pretty much will be guaranteed into the program. However, those of you who may either lose the guarantee or don't have the guarantee, but is also interested in applying to the program, you will choose another set of courses. For example, I think the other requirement is that you complete the computer science 101, 108, 148, 165 combination. But if you don't have the guarantee, you will also have to apply with a supplementary. You have to fill out a supplementary application. So there's a separate process that you will need to do. And it's a little bit more competitive because the minimum mark is not going to be enough necessarily, because there's also the supplementary application process as well. Okay, so then so also students who are not admitted to the through the guarantee will only have the option of doing a major or a minor, not the specialist. Okay, so after this, you'll see a whole bunch of focus or foci, what focuses or foci, however you want to say it. But these are meant for you to kind of like have an idea of how to select the courses within computer science that has a certain theme to it. Okay, these are not meant to be extra. It doesn't mean that you have to take extra courses to complete your specialist and your focus. The focus is actually part of your specialist, perhaps, or your major, but it's just telling you that these, if you want this focus, for example, of let's say artificial intelligence, you would complete these 3.5 credits within your specialist. You will choose to do these 3.5 credits within this specialist. Okay. So there's like lots of different ones. And if you look at human interaction, you'll see, oh, they take courses from cognitive science. So maybe that would be something I would be interested in doing, or psychology. So, and sociology, for example. So these are sort of like gives you a good idea to, oh, maybe that would be something, an elective that I might want to take. So by looking at these different focuses, you can see how they sometimes they do bring in some cross-listed courses for you to consider when you're choosing your courses. Okay, so let's see. All right, So these are other patterns of first-year required courses in other physical math sciences. So we have electoral science, if some of you are interested in that. Typically you would, if you look at all of these programs in the math and physical sciences, you'll see that the common denominator of courses that you have to take involves at least one of these calculus courses, right? So you'll see here, Math 137, with a specific mark here, or Math 157. So slashes or, and here you have these options as well. So you'll see that there are variants within the 100 series courses. So we'll talk about a little bit about that. Now for statistics, I just want to mention here, if you are really intending to do apply for stats and major or specialist in your first year, then it's highly recommended that you do stat 130 because you can only take it in your first year. So let's say you don't take it, it's fine. You will then need to follow take the second year statistics and then apply after your second year to get into the program. So there are other criteria that they look at. So, and this material science, for example, I think you would, it's a combined program with engineering. So these will be courses that you may want to take. Okay, so earlier we talked about the first year requirement. You have 12 months to complete them. And actually, when you look at so this is the course that tells you need to do with at least 70. But when you look at the timetable, you'll see that this course is offered in the first term. You see an F here. And CSE 111 is a half credit. So that is offered in the second term. So in other words, for students with a guarantee and want to with the intention of applying to computer science, you should take this course in your first year. And this is a Y course. It's a full year course that it's compressed into one term. So course load wise, it means it actually is 2 courses. So when you're doing a timetabling and balancing your course load, it's important that you factor make that consideration as well. It's a Y course that is compressed into one term. So for that term, for the first term, that this course is actually considered like 2 courses, taking a space for 2 courses. And then for the second term, you will do the 1-1-1. So typically, students who do not meet, let's say, the 70, then they may have the opportunity to enroll in CSE 140 and 165 to meet the requirements. To apply as a non-guaranteed, but at least you have an opportunity to do that. Okay, and the math is only required if you're doing specialist and major only. If you're doing a minor, it's not a requirement. Okay. Also keep in mind students who are not taking, are using the 148-165 combination. They would also, these are courses that you actually have to take it on the St. George campus rather than transfer from anywhere. So that is something that you have to keep in mind. Because typically you can take courses from other campuses as well. Okay, so talking about variants. When you look at the math courses, for example, you'll see these are all first year 100 series courses that has 1. And then you'll be able to quickly spot the seminar courses are 19 something. So these are courses that are really not intended for students who are really want to take the program as a major minor, but these are first year seminar courses, okay, that are meant for people meeting breadth requirements for in let's say a math and physical science. So your choices, because this is your main area of study, then you probably will be choosing from here. So typically the 133 is for students in commerce. That includes linear algebra already, but calculus, this is the standard for basically all standard life science students or sciences. But the 137 is really the one that is recommended for all math and physical science students, because it does include the proofs and abstraction introduction to that. So that's why this course, like for students who took this and needing that extra to introduction to proof, would take this course. So in your case, you may want to, this probably would be the one that you want to start with, unless you are really keen in math and you're think of perhaps math in terms of letters, then maybe the math 157 might be a good one as well for you. So computer science variants are same, 19 something, are for what you are first year seminars that you can only take in your first year. So students who wants the admission category, you would take this group of courses, and the other category would be non-guarantee category will be taking these group of courses to be eligible for the program. Okay, so for chemistry and physics, if you're planning to do the specialist, I think generally the chemistry 155 would be highly recommended, but the 135 and 136 would be just pretty much the standard. Okay, so this one is pretty straightforward. Again, you will see here the 19 series. But there are some 200 level physics courses and chemistry, for example, science of kitchen, that are actually for students who are pursuing it more as a breadth requirement and not having the chemistry grade 12 for physics as a prerequisite. Okay, so it's important that you read this because I guess in case you thought, oh, the 205 it's a physics core that counts for your program, but it may not be for your major in physics. Okay, and it's important that you look at these exclusions. So if you've taken first year physics, like if that is your main area, then technically you shouldn't be taking this physics 205 course. Okay, moving along. Statistics. Okay, some of you may, if statistics is your main area of study that you're thinking of choosing, then you should really consider taking stats 130, because you could only take it in your first year. After that, students can still apply to the math statistic program, but they would apply with the combination of the 200 stats that they will take, plus the math 135. So that is the reason why I think, yeah, so that's the only kind of like difference, but that's why I just wanted to point that out. So students, this is again, the higher the level, the more abstract and proof theoretical it would be. So it's important that you consider for what purpose you're taking it, and then find the right level of courses. So the 147, 148 combo are for computer science. So there's a little bit more applied stats in that area. Okay, so if you're not sure which variant to choose, it's important that if you're considering a more advanced option that is needed, then make sure you evaluate your interest, capability. Some of the benefit of enrolling in let's say math 157 is that, okay, first of all, you be in a smaller classroom, but a dedicated faculty who really loves the subject, and also yeah, it's a little bit more enriched, obviously. But if that is an environment that you could do, some students really do excel and do well in that. So that is something that you may want to consider. However, it is more difficult. That's why sometimes you will see that they would even accept a lower mark to get into something if you're enrolled in the higher variant. So get advice from the experts, and sometimes even contact the department to get a little bit more about maybe the course description for you to kind of gauge what is it that you want to really go into, and how it's going to be see if that is something that you want to do. I highly recommend people to even attend the classes in the first 2 weeks of classes just to get a taste of what the course is and then decide which one to keep. Okay, so again, and if you're taking, let's say, 2 programs, and I mentioned, let's say, psychology, and stats, so a lot of the social sciences would require a 2nd-year psychology. Even political science, if you're doing a political science major or a specialist, would require at least 1 stat course. So many of the social sciences would also have their own stat courses that they provide. So those are considered applied stat courses. So generally speaking, it's a little bit easier. So if you're doing, let's say, majoring in stats or minoring in stats and doing another major that requires a stats, it's important that you do not take both, okay? Because they would be exclusion, but you would typically take the higher of the variant, okay? Because, for example, stats would not accept psychology 201 as their stats course, but psychology would accept the stat 237 as their quantitative stat course, for example. Okay, so in the timetable calendar, you will see course codes that includes the department's sponsor, the series of the courses, 100, 200, 300 series, H and Y, the value of the credit, so half or full credit, and typically in our calendar, St. George 1 it tells you that it's offered in St. George, but you can also take courses from other campuses, and typically for UTSC, you'll see a 3 at the end, UTM, and even field courses that are taught abroad by U of T staff would have a 0 at the end, and some transfer credits would have that as well as a 0. So in the timetable is where you're going to find something called the section code. The section code tells you that when the course is offered. So for example, if you see an F, that means the course is offered in the first term, that is like from September to December. And if it's a 2nd term, they will start in January and end in April. And if it's a Y course, then the course is offered throughout the year. So in the summer session, it mirrors basically our, first of all, it's important that when you are planning for courses, you are actually balancing both terms and the fall and the winter term, and that you actually choose courses for both terms on the get-go. The reason being is everyone is going to plan for the whole year, not just half a term at a time. If you do that and you don't select your S courses, then sometimes when you schedule your Y course, it may be in conflict with your S courses. So that's why it's important that when you plan for both terms. Okay, so fall winter session, 5 full credits, it's like 100% course load. In the summer, it's 2 full credits. That's 100% course load. You could have a Y course that goes throughout the term, then that will have a section code Y. But like the CSC 110YF, then that means it will just start in September, end in December. So that will be kind of counted as 2. But in the summer, sometimes you will see these CSE courses that are H courses and go throughout the whole term, meaning from the whole of May to August. And that is technically, the course load wise, it's like less than half, right? Like maybe a quarter, but it's done throughout the term. So the summer session kind of mirrors the winter session, except that it's compressed in time. And that's the reason why you are only allowed up to 2 full credits, because the course load, the courses done run faster in the summer. Okay, so this is a little bit more to sort of give you an idea. According to the University of Toronto, Faculty of Arts and Science definition of your full-time and part-time status is actually based on the number of credits that you enroll in the full academic year. So if you are taking 3 or more courses, full course equivalent, then you're considered full-time. And if you and less than that, 2.5, you're considered part-time in the fall winter session. In the summer session, you're full-time if you're taking 1.5 credits for the entire summer. But if you're enrolled in part-time, if it's fewer than 1 credit. However, for fees, there's another thing that you may, at the beginning when you're planning for courses, it's like, okay, well, this year I might be working more. I want to do a work-life balance, and I want to know how many courses I want to do. I think that's actually one of the first things you kind of want to decide as you're doing, because if you are thinking of doing 3.5 credits or less, then you are eligible to pay per course. Otherwise, you would be paying the full program fees, regardless of whether you take 4 to 6 credits. So for more information, you could, and later on, I think in the session that Money Matters, Danielle is going to talk a little bit more about that. But that's the key is that when you're planning, it's important to decide how many courses you're planning to take for the full year. Okay, so let's take, for example, I pretending to be a first-year student and I'm interested in computer science statistics, then I would go to those programs and then look up the core courses. So I would list them and also think about look up maybe other interest areas or focus. So maybe I'm interested in linguistics and calling the science. And this is what I list out as my core credits that I need to take. So I put them in priority, and then also come up with a list of courses that are for my electives. Okay, again, you will put them in some sort of order of priority. So this is kind of important because from the calendar, it's what guides you what courses you may need to take. And then you go to the timetable, and when you key it in, you will see that you will kind of like have to kind of look at what the sections are and then make sure that you balance it out. And for instance, if you go to the timetable and you key in Math 223, you will see that the F and S are available. So you can actually take Math 223 either in the first term or second term. So you would pair it with something else, right? So then some courses you will have choices and they're offered in both terms. And because they're not prerequisite of one another, it wouldn't matter whether you're taking in the first term or second term. Okay, so this is how you kind of probably will be looking at doing. Stats is also offered in the first term and second term. So the way I would think perhaps is using this and this to balance each other out. So if I take stats in the second term, I would take math 223 in the first term. Okay, so it's important that you do that. So I'm going to now go into the timetable just to show you how it will look like when you're counseling. So this is the timetable. I need to show you here how this works. So the first thing when you go to the timetable builder, it's important that you choose the section because right now we're in the summer. The default that comes out is the summer session, but you're not taking summer courses. So make sure that you choose the right section and make sure that you choose the right faculty because otherwise you're not going to be seeing our courses. Notice here, you can actually choose to look at Mississauga, UTM, UTSC, other faculties, but you need to choose. Unfortunately, you have to do this every time because you can't set it to default to these settings, but it's important that you do that. Then you can choose, let's say math, choose math. I'm going, or if you know the course code, you can key it into, let's say math 137 that I'm looking for, it already pops out, it's available. Okay, so you can do that and you do the search. So the math course comes up, you see this, here, if you click under more course information, you actually have a little bit of the timetable that lets you check prerequisites and all of that stuff. To make sure that this is the right course that you're looking at. And then now the additional information that the timetable gives you is the lecture section. Notice that each course you have to pick one of these lecture sections. There's about 9, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lecture sections. The lecture sections is tied to a room number, a professor, and it tells you the availability. We'll talk a little bit more about the wait list, but it also shows that the enrollment control. This is important because most of the time you'll see a P, and you could see here that the instructions like priority is given to students in these categories. So if you were in computer science or upper year science or whatever, then you'll have priority to take these courses in the first round. Other students who do not have, let's say I'm admitted to humanities and social sciences, I don't have priority, then I will have to wait until July 26th. Now, that's a very important date for you guys as well. If there is a course that you don't fit the priority category, but you wish to take, then you may need to wait until the 26th to add those courses. So that's why this is important for you to consider, consider and understand when you're enrolling courses. So you have to choose. If you see a lecture section, you have to choose one. So let's say I'm just going to add it to my timetable. Okay, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to show me fall as well as winter. Again, remember I said you need to make sure that you do plan for both. So then you have to scroll down, make sure if you see a T, that means it's a tutorial that you need to pick as well. So for now, there's going to be lots of tutorials because they are smaller in classes. So what I would say this is just so that you don't forget, you need to pick a tutorial, just pick a random one first. You can always adjust later which around your other timetable. So you pick one and you can lock it, whatever, like these are tools. This is a tool you can use. So let's say I'm gonna try another one because I want to show you another course here. Let's say I'm gonna do chemistry, 135. Okay, so search. Okay, this course, you'll see it's important. There are some important information here in timetable where you can, they will tell you that practical sessions are labs. So some courses will have a lab as well. And so that means that if you see, you always have to choose a lecture section. So that's fine. I'll choose one. Oh, it tells me right away there's a time conflict. Okay, so maybe I'll remove this one. I'll just put another one in there, just so we'll take a look later. Then again, I'm gonna add this. So if you see a tutorial, you need to add one tutorial, and you have to scroll all the way down and see if there is a practicum. You also need to add a practicum. Now, practicum, again, if you look up here, there are instructions that tells you that they meet every other week. So if you are thinking of pairing it with biology, there are specific instructions here. So you will choose the one that ends with 1. It will start on the 16th. And these are, because they meet in alternate weeks. And if you choose a practicum that ends with 2, you'll start the week after. So if you want to pair it with another biology course, so make sure that you pair it with, you want it on the same day. So make sure that they end in the same number. So you would choose another practicum that is on the same, offered at the same time in biology that ends with a 1. So then they will meet alternating weeks. Okay, so now this is how it's going to look like. Practicum, everything will show up. You can always, okay, I don't like this. I'm going to choose something else. And then you can sort of fiddle with it until you land on a timetable that looks fine with you and that there are no time conflicts. Okay. All right, so let's see. Okay, where are we now? Okay, we talked about that. The other thing about filter, so this is another, so let's say you're looking for a breadth requirement, you want to look for a elective that, you know, lands on a specific date, maybe Monday, evening. So if you have some specific criteria you're kind of looking for course, that fills those criteria, you can use these filters for you. Okay, so you can also, you know, I need a 300 level course, then you can filter that as well. So there are other course finding mechanism here. So this is an example that I have that I just kind of like, you know, you can see it in real time when you see a time conflict, then you can make adjustment and choose other. There's going to be a lot more tutorial courses than lecture sections. So I would say just plop it in, and if later on you see there's a conflict with a tutorial, then just go back and find a tutorial that works around your schedule. I think that's what I would sort of suggest you do. So you are responsible to make sure that there are no time conflict, because Acorn does not check. So it will allow you to add courses that are conflicting, but it's really not in your best interest to do that, especially when tutorial times is actually, tutorials and labs are actually compulsory components of the course. It's not complete if you don't take those. The lecture sections, because a lot of the, let's say, the TA might be taking up quizzes, class attendance, usually actually during tutorial time. So it's important that you actually plan ongoing attending, and because it is an integral part of your course. There's a reminder here that again, it's in when you're done with the timetable, it's important that you export. There's a button there that export or saves this, because you need this information, like the course information and the section that you want, because you need to key those into Acorn to officially enroll. So this part is only a tool. It does not mean you're enrolled in these courses. You actually have to input this information into Acorn to officially enroll in those courses. Okay, then I'm going to talk more about when you do that, but Acorn is where you actually put the courses in your enrollment card, and then on the specific date when your start time begins, that will be, then you just have to click to enroll in the courses. But making your timetable is only one part of it. Okay, make sure that you save this, because once you get out of this from the timetable, then it doesn't save it. So for you to save it, you need to export it and save it in your own file. Okay. All right. Now, when you're taking courses and locations, stuff like that, I think will be posted very shortly, maybe beginning or mid-July. But classes really can be anywhere on these 35 square, buildings. So it can be really anywhere. So this is the central campus, east side, west side. We're on the west side. That's Innis College here, Robarts Library. So you could typically, during the day, the lecture sections will say L1, 01, 02, or whatever. So those are day lectures. Day lectures typically actually start 10 minutes after the hour. That's U of T time, 10 minutes after the hour. So you typically can still schedule a class one after another, because you have 10 minutes in between classes to go to get to your classes. Okay, the only thing that I would maybe caution you is not schedule something from, let's say, here and then going all the way to the other corner. So, because otherwise then you have to, in the winter, having to trek through Queen's Park and stuff like that, and could take potentially more than 10 minutes. Okay, so, but other than that, it's very easy just to, go across West Central, East Central, and so on and so forth. Okay. So lecture sections that start in the evening, which is anything that says L5 something something, it starts after 5 o'clock. That's why it's L5 something. And those evening courses start on time. So please make sure that if you have an evening section, that you start on time. Also, tutorials. Tutorials never start before the first lecture. So if you happen to schedule a tutorial for your math class that starts on Monday, but your lecture doesn't start until Tuesday, then don't go to the tutorial section on the first week. Just know that tutorials never and practicum never starts before the first lecture section. Okay, so just want to make sure that you don't go into, looking for your tutorial and your first week and not knowing that, oh, it hasn't started. Okay, so there's the building code. Okay, so things to consider when you're choosing your courses. Again, I would say have contingency plans. So there's a priority round that will go from the 18th for you, because 18th of July is your first day for all first-year students. If you are a transfer students with more than 4 transfer credits, then you technically consider second year, so you will have a different start time. So you may want to check out what those course enrollment, but assuming most of you are coming as a first-year student, your start date will be, this is your priority round. The P priority will drop and then it opens it up. That means if the course is available and there's spaces, it will open it up to other categories, students in other admission category. And that means from the 26th to the 16th, you are able to act. But in August, so the later you wait to enroll in your courses, I guess the courses could actually be filled up, because in August, we do open it up also for students for other faculty to add courses if they wanted to. And so I think it's important that you try to do it during the first round. So have backup in mind, especially when you're thinking about electives. You can join the wait list on certain courses up to 2 full credits. If you are let's say within this 10%, I think you could probably stay in there. But if you are way down the list and more than 10% of the classes, then I would say you probably should find another class. So wait list also ends maybe a few days before the last day to add and enroll courses. So I think that would be also and then will be becomes lottery. So again, I would say strategize it, make sure that you could you look up other courses as well. Again, if you have 2 elective, you're not sure which one to choose, maybe attend the classes in the first 2 weeks of classes so that you can confirm which one you want to keep. Okay. All right. Acorn also does not check for prerequisites or exclusion on itself. So it doesn't stop you from enrolling in a course, perhaps that you actually have a transfer credit from. Let's say you have a transfer credit for linear algebra, and then you try to enroll in Math 223, it will allow you. But then in the end, you're only going to receive half the credit. So that means that the 222 that you take may become an extra course. So it's important that you really do check, because it is your responsibility to make sure. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to come and ask us. Okay. And there will be 3 particular enrollment dates every year that will not allow you to enroll. Rosie will not work, and that's because in the back end, the faculty needs to do stuff. Sometimes they may open more spaces depending on the wait list and stuff like that. So it's important that you note these dates and not panic when you try to enroll in courses on these days and it's not allowing you. Okay. So starting in the general enrollment period, which is the 26th, that is also the day that you can add up to 6 courses. Okay. In the first round, you're only allowed to take 5, enroll up to 5 and no more than 2 waitlist courses. But on the 6th day, you can add another one. So if you want to secure checking out another course, you can go ahead and add it. Okay. All right. So first year community, I don't know. I think Denise already talked about it. I can leave it till the end if someone has questions. Arrive ready as well. There are some pump and courses that you can do as a refresher if you want to kind of like gauge prepare yourself for the math classes. That would be also another day. So finally, I just want to go over the key dates for you. So thank you for attending this academic orientation. I hope that the information that you have received so far will give you some more confidence in coming up with your timetable and whatnot. And feel free to email us if you would like to sit down with somebody, especially if you have transfer credits, to go over your course selection and have it ready to add them onto the enrollment card on Acorn. You can actually start doing that, and then view your start time on July 1st. And the start time, start time July 1st. Whatever start time is given to you, that will be the optimum time for you to select your courses with priority. Okay, so hopefully you have everything settled by the 26th, and then 26th you could go in to add other courses that you didn't have priority for but you wish to do. Then that will be another important date at 12 p.m. That's when you can add, first year students can add those courses, and July 31st is when other students are going to come on, so it's going to be so the courses will fill up by that time. And then you have till the 27th to pay for your courses, or at least the first installment, or defer your fees if you have OSAP or other provincial loans that you can, or scholarship, you can defer your fees. And basically that will change on Acorn your invite status to register. If you are, because that is what triggered the registration. If that doesn't trigger the registration, unfortunately, you could be financially canceled and you could lose your courses. That's why this step is very, very important. And then September 3rd is when classes for F and Y courses will begin. You can find more academic dates, when exam happens, when the university have holidays, all those important dates you can find in the academic deadlines, dates and deadlines. And the course enrollment dates, specific instructions, you can also find in the course enrollment dates link. All right, and typically I would say for all of you, 5 courses is probably what I would say you should probably aim for, and try to settle in all your courses by the 16th. That is the last day that you can change any of your Y and F courses. Okay. All right, so to be registered, make sure that you enroll in your courses, make your timetable, put your courses on Acorn, and enroll on your on July the 18th. And then after that, once you enroll in courses, it will trigger your fees, and you pay your fees by no later than 27th of August. That should then change your status to registration and complete your registration. Okay. So, okay, that's any questions at this point? Maybe I will leave it if anyone wants to unmute to ask me questions.
I had a question.
Sure.
So earlier when you were talking about the specialist and the major and the minor.
Yes.
So for all of those, let's say, so I got admitted to computer science, but let's say I also want to do, or I'm thinking to do a minor in physics, for example, right?
Yes.
Do I need to enroll in all of those? Do I need to enroll in all of those by the end of first year?
Yes. So if that's the case, then again, I would go to this. Okay, so if you know that for computer science, the core courses are CSE 110, 111, and math. So that's 2.5 credits, correct? Right? So those
yeah.
2 you need, 2.5 credits you need. Then if physics is your other program, then, and you're thinking of a minor, then you need to take 1 full credit. So then you would add 1 full credit physics.
Oh, it says for the enrollment requirements there that it's as long as I complete 4 credits, I can enroll. But then to
That
complete it,
is general. That is just general, because your year of study here in the Faculty of Arts and Science is determined by the number of credits that you finish by the end of summer. So that is only one of the criteria in order for you to enroll in the program. Every student have to complete 4 credits, because that was deemed you to be second-year student. But on top of that, you need to declare some programs, and you need to be in either one specialist minimally, or 2 majors, or 1 major and 2 minors. Because if you're not in in any programs in your second year, when enrollment begins in July, it doesn't know what priority to give you, and it will block you from enrolling in any courses until you declare some programs.
And I had a follow-up question. Let's say, so I was thinking to do like a minor in physics, and I do these prerequisites, and then maybe I take something else in second year, but I realize that like physics isn't for me, or I don't like it or something. Can I, if I just stop taking physics courses, I won't
That's
get
fine.
like the minor,
Yeah,
right?
that just be your that becomes your elective.
Okay. And also for the course selection, this priority period that starts on the 18th, right?
Yes.
So if I'm in computer science, I have priority for computer science courses, right?
Yes. Typically,
But
that's how we set it up. That's why your stream of your admission category is important, because that's how we set the priority for your courses. So in some ways, you don't need to be so worried that you hear people, oh, I don't get into the courses. Typically, when that happens is because students waited till too long. So remember, because we do open the courses up to other divisions, right? But if you actually have the priority and you went in when the priority round is, typically you should relatively be easy to get into the courses. Now, I can't guarantee you get into the lecture section you want, but you should relatively be able to secure your first year required courses.
And this would apply only for, let's say, CSC 110 or CSC 111. What about like MAT 137? That doesn't fall under that?
Same.
Oh,
Same.
it also falls under the
Yes.
the
If you
priority
look
period?
at, yeah, so earlier when I pulled it up, it says priorities giving to students in math and physical sciences and upper year science students.
But for something, let's say I want an elective like philosophy or something, I would need to wait until afterwards then.
Yes, so let's take a look at that. So I am showing you here, let's say, I don't know, let's say you wanted to do philosophy 245. It's some probably inductive study, for example. You can take a look at here, priority is shown. Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap up soon, but like here, you'll see these are the students who have priority. So if you're not in this, then you will have to wait till the 26th.
Oh, okay, so I can just check here. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, sorry. I think if you have more questions, feel free to email us, contact us, maybe arrange an appointment. But yeah, I think I will have to end it now. Wrap up. Thank you so much.
All right, Claudia, everything good
Okay,
now?
it's good? Okay.
Yeah.
It's just because I can't see anybody's faces. I don't know if like they have questions or not. Yeah, but hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I think everything should be good now.
All right, thanks so much.
All right. Have a nice
Okay,
one,
bye-bye.
Claudia. See you
Yes.
soon. Bye.